You're listening to Dude Podcast with Jason and Will. Put some pep in that step. Enjoy the show.
Will, I wanted to tell you, I can't stop looking at your chest. It looks so good. What does that say? Is that Dude Podcast?
It does say Dude Podcast. And here's the kicker. It's got a little hat on it too, which makes it so cute.
Well, the D has a backwards hat, which makes it really cool. That's one cool D.
And we both have backwards hats on right now. That is wild. So yeah, we have new merch, new website. We're just a whole new game, baby. If you go to
thedudepod.com
and do a little scroll down, you can find this shirt, the shirt that Mr. Crumb is wearing. It says, "Put some pep in that step," which is a quote that my son says on our intro.
And I'd like to describe what you're seeing here. This is the dudiest of dudes. If you were born into this world and all you consumed was being a dude, you'd probably end up looking like this little guy.
Yeah.
This little dude right here. He has no clothes on. Does he care? No.
No, he doesn't.
Because he's all dude.
He is. You know what? I love that you called him Little Dude. I think that's what we should call him from now on. Little Dude. So if you go to
thedudepod.com,
you can find that merch. You can also find links to all the places you can listen to our podcast, links to our YouTube page, and contact us. It's just a great little hub for all things dude.
It's the Dude Hub.
It's the Dude Hub.
It's the Dude Death Star is what it is. You constructed the Dude Death Star, except instead of destroying planets, it creates these little dudes.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And go visit it and do whatever you want to do on there.
People just start sending in pictures of themselves dressed as insects. Actually, that's our next thing. Please send us pictures of yourself dressed as an insect. But it can't be an arachnid. I will be very upset if it's an arachnid. It has to be an insect.
Please do. Honestly, send us anything. If you made a great casserole, send us a picture of your great casserole. We want it all.
Send us your tax returns.
Send us a picture of your big toe if it's worse than my big toe.
Yeah, if you have hideous big toes, please subject us to that.
Yeah.
Oh, oh, my lad. Oh, oh, my lad. I have that song stuck in my head.
I don't know what it is.
That is the Hobbit animated feature.
Oh, yeah. You made me watch that as a
kid. Down to Goblin Town. And I think about it all the time. I'll be like sitting there on like a very, a very important sales call. And it just like, I'm sitting there like chewing on a pencil, like in deep thought about what someone's saying. And then all of a sudden I hear in the back of my head, down to Goblin Town. And I start thinking about the most vivid nightmare I ever had when I was like 4 or 5 years old was from that movie.
The cartoon?
Yes.
Interesting. You had a nightmare from a cartoon.
It was in our first home, which we moved when I was like 5 or 6. So I remember it. And I remember like seeing all the characters from The Hobbit, like from the goblin things. They were real, dude. I feel like television was more of the Wild West when it was just whatever was on. Like all of a sudden, who knows? ABC would have just had the Hobbit on, the animated Hobbit on for no reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what me and Trey watched last night, and then we're going to go through the whole series?
No. What is it?
DuckTales.
Great show.
You know when DuckTales came out?
In the 80s?
1987. It is the same age as me, my friend.
And me.
36 years old. That's how old DuckTales is. There is something that is confusing to me, though, upon rewatch. So, okay. Do you remember kind of the general premise of DuckTales?
No, not really.
General premise is Uncle Donald Duck, is joining the Navy, and Huey, Dewey, and Louie, his nephews, need to have a babysitter, and so he proceeds to leave them with none other than Scrooge McDuck.
It's all coming back to me.
Because Scrooge McDuck is a very, very wealthy duck, but Scrooge McDuck is very cheap, like to the point where like he won't even hail a taxi to get the boys. He'd rather walk. Yeah, but what it got me thinking is there's no explanation for Huey, Dewey. I always assumed Donald, for whatever reason, was Huey, Dewey, and Louie's dad.
Yeah, I guess I kind of always thought that too.
It's very confusing because it's just uncles. We're really just uncle to uncle is what's going on here. It's one uncle, Uncle Donald, who's then just passing the boys to Uncle Scrooge. And these uncles are not close. I mean, that's a big ask to be like, hey, can you just take these children? He just wants to see the world. That was the explanation. Like, he didn't need to join the Navy. Uncle Donald had just said, I need to see the world.
It's probably free. Free meals, free airfare. I get it.
And it appears that Uncle Donald just basically mopped the deck. That's all he did.
It's not a bad gig.
Not a bad gig.
And this is kind of getting a little off topic, but if you are forced to name your son Huey, Dewey, or Louie, what would you go with? Those are the only three options you have. Huey Crumb, Dewey Crumb.
Huey. Because Huey is like a passable. There's some cool Hueys. Huey's kind of a cool name in a weird way.
Yeah, because you can call him Hugh, like Hugh Grant. Or Huey Lewis in the News.
Exactly. Huey Lewis in the News. Huey's cool. Like, Huey's actually kind of cool. Huey, character from The Boys. I think the better question is, what's the worst?
I don't know. Dewey's not great.
Have you ever known a Dewey?
No, I have not.
I haven't either. I don't know.
Here's the thing. I don't know a Hugh or a Huey.
But I've seen Hueys. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but we all know him as Hugh.
No, but Huey Lewis, it's not Hugh Lewis in the News, it's Huey Lewis.
So you think Hugh Grant or Hugh Jackman legal name is Huey?
I think that Hugh Jackman growing up was probably called Huey.
I hope so.
Although Dewey does feel like it would be passable if he was Australian.
Yeah.
Dewey, get off there. Get off there, Dewey. Get off the buoy, Dewey. Get off that buoy, you Dewey. Come here. Swab. He said swab me. Get up here, swab your uncle. Come over here, swab me. What would that mean?
Come swamp me?
No, swab.
Oh, swab.
Someone was like, get over here, swab me.
Well, swabbing is like almost like cleaning and penetrating, so I mean, it can't be good. You know what? If anyone ever comes to you and says, come swab me, the answer is no. Just let's default answer.
You know what I'm going to do? One day when I'm in a home, my memory is about gone. I'm just going to mess with anybody that like comes and like sings like Christmas stuff. Like sings Christmas songs. I'm going to yell out, swap me.
Little elementary school kids come and visit the nursing home and sing beautiful Christmas songs to you. And you're sitting out there just screaming, swap me, little ones. You know what you should do is you tell a nurse to swab you and just let her figure out what that means. Just say it over and over again. Swab me! I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Swab me! And eventually she has to figure out what that means.
It's also so weird because it's like it's not offensive, yet it is for some reason. Like it's not inappropriate, but it feels like it could be. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, real quick. Your mom brought something to my attention that I do want to talk to you about.
Okay.
So your mom, I had to drop some stuff off at your parents' house, and your mom and I started talking, and she was saying, somehow we got talking about childhood, and she was sharing with me, she goes, oh, I need to show you some artwork that JC did as a kid. And I said, oh, okay, great. She brings over 2 plates. And she said, for reference, this is the plate that Katie, his sister, did. And I'll show this to the listeners. If you look on YouTube.
And how old was Katie?
This says 1995. So I'm assuming she was probably like 5 or 6.
Okay, that's fair.
Probably 6.
It looks like something a 6-year-old would make, right?
You can clearly see people and a Christmas tree and presents.
Yeah, it's not a great picture, but it's a picture you would think a typical 6-year-old would be able to do, right?
But I want to point out, it's understandable what is being conveyed here.
Sure.
You did a plate at 6 years old. This was done, it says 1993. So you would have been 6 years old. This is what JC drew at 6 years old. I was like, was he drinking at that age?
My needless to say, my parents were very worried about my development for a long time. And you can see they have very strong evidence to feel that way. Can you imagine being the teacher? So think about, there was probably 1 or 2, maybe 4 iterations prior to that teacher had to be like, oh God, we're going to put this on a plate and give it to his parents. Did they sit my parents down? They're like, well, brace yourself.
Your dad just goes, he was 6 when he did this. He's like, he couldn't have just drawn a human being. You attempted to draw 2 people in this photo.
Well, I think I can tell you what it is. Santa is trying to decorate the tree, and I think actually that may be the other thing next to the tree may in fact be a reindeer.
But anywho, I thought I should share that because your mom showed that to me, and I thought that was the funniest thing ever. You know what I learned this week? So I was listening to a podcast. Who was talking? It's called Are You Garbage?
Yeah, Philly guy.
Somehow on one of the conversations they had, one of their guests said, oh, I have one of those refrigerators that plays Spotify on the screen. Those 2 things don't go together. And I looked it up, and sure enough, there are now refrigerators with screens on them where you can stream things, and you can also play Spotify. And I thought, we've gone too far.
I don't even want to look at my fridge on the outside.
That's my point.
I just want to get my thing and go.
Was there a demand? Do you think people were like, look, I'm loving the fridge, keeps my stuff cool, but when are we going to come out with a screened fridge? I need to be watching Bridgerton while I make my omelets.
They're trying to utilize the space, I suppose.
Was your family the family that had a TV in the kitchen, like one of those mini TVs?
No, we never had one of those.
Same.
I always felt like those were the wealthy people.
But didn't you think, as a kid, you were like, when I'm older, that's gonna be me?
Yeah, I mean, we have a little Amazon thing in our fridge, though, and we use it a lot.
What does that mean?
Yeah, it's like a little one of those Amazon Echoes with the screen.
Oh,
yeah, I'll say that there are times during mealtime that it's not a bad thing to have, Well,
I'll listen to my phone and stuff like that, but actually, I guess your phone is technically a little TV.
That's what they need to rename the phone the little TV. That's what Steve Jobs should have really named the iPhone. Little, like LIL, like the rapper.
Now we're introducing the little TV.
Little TV, and he has he dances. He's got he has little sunglasses. He can have a little backwards hat like the little dude.
Did Steve Jobs ever dance at those things like the Microsoft guys? Have you seen that video of the Microsoft guys dancing at the Windows 95?
That is the worst whiteness ever being on display. That's the most it's so uncool. It makes you just want to end it all right
it
there.
hurts. It hurts my teeth watching it.
As a white man, I'm just upset. Like, I just feel like they just need to call it. It's just, what are you doing? Like, you shouldn't dance.
I can't tell whose dances were worse, Gates or Ballmer. Ballmer was almost like air guitaring, wasn't he? Like, he was out of his mind.
The only thing I appreciate about Ballmer's got so much like excitement. He's like a toddler. Like Ballmer dances like a toddler. Like, just getting excited and just like
he's not on rhythm.
Yeah, he just kind of shakes around, and it's awesome too because now he owns the Clippers. Like, I don't know. There's like other owners who are semi-cool or they're like trying to be cool, like Mark Cuban. They'll like go to Cuban and Cuban's wearing like a jersey and he's like, he looks, and Ballmer just is such a dork, man. He's just like literally like just like, wow, like he's just like he is the fan that you would be embarrassed of if he was like your dad and he actually gone the mega camp. Yeah. And that man owns the team,
which is crazy.
Yeah, he owns a professional basketball team in Los Angeles. Like, the coolest thing you can own.
If you could own a team, who would you own?
Oh, Dallas Cowboys.
No
doubt in my mind.
That's who you want to own?
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a boring answer.
The NFL football team would be it'd be the best. It'd be the best, man. The best.
Yeah, I guess so.
How was your 4th of July? This is a look I'm cultivating.
Nice. Yeah. Did you wear that on 4th?
Yeah.
Did you wear that at family gatherings in Philadelphia?
Yeah, I did.
Was it well received?
I mean, I think people were intimidated of it because I look so cool.
You look like, what's the name of the Jason Aldean?
Jason Aldean wears his hat, so it looks like his hat ate his head.
It does. It's bad.
This is literally like what I'm doing is how Jason Aldean wears his hat. How does that man do anything? He looks like, remember there was that character on Looney Tunes who was like, Muggsy, don't do this, Muggsy. He was just like a hat. He's just like a hat character.
You know what's funny is rappers and country stars are not that different.
No, they're the same. They're the exact same.
And country stars wear like their hats that way. Rappers wear the shades. Like they sing about the same things, their cars and women, and it's all the same thing. It's just two different genres.
I'm not gonna lie, I feel pretty cool. But
you do look. I'm not gonna lie, you do look a little more intimidating.
As I drink my child's juicy juice box.
Now I wish I had a cowboy hat.
This is ridiculous. Like, literally, the brim is on my eyes.
I know. I can't see your eyes.
It's had to have done long-term damage to his eyes.
Like, what? Where do you get that?
Oh, I ordered it off a small little mom and pop store called Amazon. Maybe you've heard of it.
Amazon, yeah, I've heard of it. I think so.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be pretty big. Yeah, but no, I literally like this. This has to do. This is like, there's those shaggy dogs, and I don't know how they see anything. I feel like one of those shaggy dogs where I just feel bad. I want to cut the dog's bangs.
Now, one thing you can't do that. You can't look up because then it loses the cool factor.
Yeah, you're right. So he has his hat. He just lives like this.
Here's the thing. You try to kick him in the nuts, it's not going to work. He's totally has great vision for that. You try to punch him in the face, he's toast.
Oh, you're right. That's the move. Dude, this is ridiculous. The more needs to be made about Jason Aldean's just general state of life like this. This is ridiculous. I don't know how anyone functions with the hat this low. It is awful.
Well, the important thing is he can sing and he looks cool.
I think he's only like 5'2". I think he's little too. I do. I think
really?
Again, I think he's that.
We think I'm the same person because
Google him. He's not that big. He's not bigger than me or you. I mean, we're not big. We're like 5'8", 5'9", but he's not bigger.
Jason Aldean is 6'1".
He's not that big. They're measuring him with boots on and that stupid hat.
He is. Oh no, are you thinking of Kenny Chesney? Because Kenny Chesney also wears his hat like that.
Yeah, right. He's also super low hat guy, and I think he is little.
Oh yeah. No, Kenny Chesney is 5'6".
Which really means he's like 5 feet. You always gotta get, like, anytime you have like one of these celebrities' heights, it's like, especially with these country dudes, because you know they're not professional athletes where they have to be measured like with their basketball shoes off.
JC, 5'4" would be like to my my shoulder.
I'm telling you, he's a little guy. He's a very little. He's all hat, and the ridiculous thing is he's wearing boots and a hat. So you got to give him another couple inches.
Yeah.
That's why I think Jason Aldean's like our height, if not smaller.
Jason Aldean is definitely taller than me, for sure.
We
may never know.
How could we ever know?
So we were in the same 5th grade class, and I was reminded not long ago, were you there when I threw up on Ethan Patton? What makes it worse is Ethan at the time was in a wheelchair because he has a broken leg. You remember that? I don't know if you were there, but we're in music class, and it's like a stadium-style room, and so I'm on the back row, and he's sitting in front of me in his white chair. And I raised my hand because I felt like I was going to throw up, and the teacher goes, this is mid-song, by the way. We're in the middle of a song. And I kept raising my hand like, I should have just ran out.
Do you remember what the song was?
No, I don't. It would have been better if I did, though. But I finally, she's like, no. And I covered my mouth, and I couldn't hold it, and vomit went all over Ethan and the wheelchair right in front of me. And the teacher felt so bad, and he was so mad. He goes, he vomited on me. And she's like, Ethan, he didn't mean to. I remember. He was like, shh, then puke on me.
That is asking so much to be like, keep singing. He just got puked on. Like,
I think she felt worse for me than she did Ethan, but I was sitting there feeling really bad.
She shouldn't feel bad for you at all. I mean, you got that out. You probably felt a lot better.
I think I did, yeah. But poor Ethan. Can you imagine your child with a broken leg coming home? It can't get much worse than that. And then he's got puke all over him.
He's roll himself in.
Sorry, Ethan. If you're listening, I actually think Ethan follows us on Instagram. Sorry, Ethan.
And then he probably couldn't even like shower or bathe.
He probably had to get a cloth bath.
A cloth bath?
Yeah, have you ever had one of those?
A sponge bath?
Have you ever used a sponge?
Yes, it's like a loofah.
Do you use loofahs?
No.
If any duties are out there and they loof themselves, let us know, because I've never known anyone that's used a loofah. But it's a great way to use. I think we all should be using loofahs.
I think we should be loofah people. Like, I feel like we should either be washcloth people or loofah people.
I do use a washcloth as an adult.
That's good. I think it's a good thing. I don't, and I need to. I think it's about time that I use something else other than my hand and soap to clean my body.
Maybe we should, well, here's what we should do. What if both of us go out and get a loofah tomorrow and report back to the duties what loofah life is like?
I would agree. And just see if our life is better or worse.
I bet a loofah on your skin feels naughty.
I bet it feels like, it's like a little, I don't know, it's like a little elf doing a job. A little cleaning elf.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And duties, if you get a loofah, report back to us your loofah experience. But only in postcard. You can only send us a postcard about your loofah experience. Any other types of correspondence we will not respond to.
Oh, we're running out of things to talk about. We're talking about loofahs and Jason Aldean.
Hi, everybody. The Jason Aldean. Boop, 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 boop.
Who do you think Jason Aldean Loofahs himself?
I bet Jason Aldean would be. I bet Loofahs offend Jason Aldean.
I bet you're right.
Like, what? You think?
I ain't gonna loofah myself.
He also like talks like a bulldog. I think he does this. I think he goes, "You think I loofah myself?"
You might be right. I mean, he looks like a guy who would talk like a bulldog.
He's a bulldog man. He's a bulldog hat man.
Yeah.
We'd like to thank the duties.
Yes. Again, reminder, we have a website. Go check it out
at thedudepod.com.
That way you can find
we have
all our social medias, the ticks, the talks, the Gmails, the store, what else do we have?
Should we get a LinkedIn too?
No. I do not need those people finding me. That's a terrible idea.
Get away, yeah. But I would just love throwing out some corporate lingo.
We're gonna circle back. We're gonna circle back to the duties. Streamline and circle back. We're gonna optimize the duties after we circle back. I'm gonna table this. We're gonna table that for later.
Per your request.
Yeah, per your request.
All right. Well, duties, thank you for joining us on this wild journey. I hope you loved it as much as Jason Aldean did.
I loved it. I love the duties. Can't do that in a small town. Don't do that in my town. Look like a bulldog. All right. See you, duties.